Yo! Welcome back. So let's turn this off. Okay, so yeah, we're back. It's my second live session. So let's see what happens today. So first off, we had a few questions since the last time. So Pete Patterson, my friend, you asked for this. So let's see. So now you see I'm in the corner there, so instead of being up here, so we got that out of the way. So now we can see what I'm doing. And also Arnav Banerjee, I'm not sure how you pronounce your name. So you said like this, hey, I missed your live session, different time zones. But I have a question about this video. So far, I only painted using the layer system and haven't faced any problems. Could you tell me the benefits of this node-based approach and where it can be used instead of the layer approach? So yeah, good question. So, I mean, you can use the layer system as much as you want. And I use a layer system when I do kind of like masks, simpler stuff. Then it doesn't really make sense to use the layer system. And let's turn this off. So it doesn't make any sense to use the node graph if you are really using like a few layers maybe, and maybe you just paint like a mask or something. Then I don't really use the node graph. But when I do something more elaborate and I want to share something or do very complex layering, then I use the node graph, because then I can let's switch over here to the. So there you go. So if you look here, you can if you want to build something, you can nest stuff. For example, here you have nested stuff, and this is similar to if I'm make a channel. So if I go here and make a channel, make a new one, test, and we build something. Let's take a layer as well. Dock it somewhere there maybe. I'm gonna switch whack on this one, that's strange. Okay, so let's create something here, and let's make a color. And let's fill it with something. Maybe I want a cloud on top, and we start to nest things. And all of a sudden, after we have made a lot of different layers on top of each other, it might become really heavy, and you can't really optimize it anymore, because you have too many layers and layer stacks and stuff built on top. And let's see if we can find this now. If I go here to test and right click and go to node graph focus channel. So here is what's been built in the background. So we see here the paint node was the default one. That was what we started with. The color, I added this one, and the cloud. So when you do something here, you might do something really elaborate. So like mask, for example, we add a mask, hide all. You see it adds the input. So in the node graph, you can cache portions much easier, because in the layer system, if you want to cache something, at the moment you cache, like you have to decide a point where you want to cache something. But in the node graph, you can stick breakpoint nodes and add like caching portions of something, or maybe make something very heavy up here. Let's make something, so cloud, we merge it, so hit the M button and merge it, and let's take something else, wood, and pipe it over, look at it, set the blending mode to multiply, for example, and yeah, maybe we have a paint node. Oops. Take something, another merge. I want to paint something on top of here. And then we want to maybe make a tree planar projection. Take some images. See if we have something in here. Image manager. Don't have anything. I have to go to my, let's see, where do we have it? Crash plan. That's my repository. Let's see, global textures, grunge, tiled. Take this one, 4K. Okay. And let's build something here a little quickly here, just to see what's going on. Merge that again. So now I'm nesting nodes on top of each other. Similar to what you do in the node in the layer graph. And let's see, let's set the scale on this one, 10 for example, so we see it. And then you might wanna, like, let's treat this as something you wanna have on its own. So, and you wanna share it in, so this can become like, you can look at this as one layer in the end. And that's kind of what, if to be able to do this in the layer stack, you have to group it or do stacks or stuff like that. So what I do, I usually build complex networks and group them together, and then I bake the result and use that maybe as a pre-baked channel or something that I use later on later down, or share between different places. And that's the beauty of the new graph, because you can have for example the radio node that we looked at in the last episode, and you can have this feeding into different locations. So if you alter something here, it's going to be updated in the radio node, so you can have one radio node from this location here feeding into a lot of different places if you have it shared between them. So you can do this in the layer stack as well. You can have shared layers and stuff. It's easier to visualize, I think, in the node graph, even if you have to really look into the actual file or like the node management. That's something to keep in mind, because it can become really cluttered, and that's something you have to maintain. So but in this case, let's pretend that this section here is very heavy. Maybe it's a lot of different procedurals, tree planars, paint nodes and everything. And if in the layer graph, your option is to, in the layer stack, go right click, go to caching and cache up to here. and that's gonna cache everything, but in the node graph you might cache portions. One portion might be heavier than the other, so you can have something live and then another portion that feeds into something else. You can still have it like open and open for business, so to speak. So when you bake something, for example, in this case, you insert a breakpoint node. So breakpoint, you set the size, the bit depth. You can also set the color space if it's a scalar, or if it's if you're painting a mask, you should set this to scalar. If it's a diffuse color, you set it to untick it, then it's going to be applied a gamma when you look at it. Let's make that now and just look at the bake node. So at the moment the bake node is not baked, and everything I do here, if I go here and let's see, if I double click on this one, on the tree planner I mean, let's say 15, just to change scale. So that's live. If I now go double click on this one and say bake, it's gonna bake down all the patches to this. Coffee is good while you bake. Even now I have a new graphics card. It's a bit faster with a new graphics card, I have to say. But yeah, baking can take a long time if you have a really complex layer stack or node graph. Okay, so this is a live session, so I can't pause, by the way. So yeah. And there we go. Now it's gonna do the MIP mapping. So cheers to you. So yeah, if you're new here, I'm gonna do live streaming and stuff like this. So there you go. Gonna do live streaming, and also I do regular tutorials, more going through everything. So this is gonna be, this can be anything. This can be me painting. In this case, I'm gonna take this asset. So I've done this before a few times. I've done it back in the day when I started the Maya channel. I did a like a promotion video. It was me driving a radio controlled drone in my old office at Fido back in Sweden. And I started to shoot down the walls and everything. So I did that back in the days, similar on another Vimeo platform for my blog, the Maya channel. And that was layer based. So this time I'm gonna go through this same asset in node graph. And I also had this on the Pixar community page before, recreating the lookdev. So I've done a few of those tutorials for the Pixar community. So I'm planning to do something similar now, but node based and everything. So if you wanna stick with me and see what I'm doing, just subscribe on my YouTube channel. And yeah, so where were we? Yeah, so now we have this. We were on that question about what the benefits of the node graph. So what I think is you can do complex pre-bakes. Maybe you then take the result of this. So you see this one now here, it's green, and that means that everything above it is up to par. And so from the node perspective point, everything connected into above here is not evaluated. It's just this node. So this one acts like a regular paint node essentially. So everything up here, if it was really expensive all the crap up here would not be evaluated, and Mari would just chug along like, ah, this is cool. This is like nothing heavy over here. But upstream node, you can have a monster of pre-backed channels or whatever. So yeah, and that's my cat. Yeah. Okay. So yeah. So where were we? Yeah. let's take her. Hold on. Okay. So let's introduce. This is Cleo. She likes to help out sometimes. Yeah. Okay. You can hang out here. Okay. So back to the node graph. Where were we? Yeah. You can have a lot of pre-baked branches going into something. So now you might use this as your starting point for adding something else, something over here with this radio node, because the radio node inherits everything over here. So now you might add something on top. Let's say you want to add like a paint something. You want to paint something on top of this. And look at that. And start to paint. Let's drag this down a bit. Paint. And we bake this down. And then later on you might decide, oh, the tile over here was too big. So you go in back here and you say, okay, I want 10 instead. But hey, nothing is happening. That's because this node now becomes red. So that tells us it's out of sync and you have to rebake it to see it. So either you rebake it or you can temporarily just expose it. So you can hit D. You see now it bypassed the node. It's similar to bypassing a node in Nuke. So that's good. You can check something if you think it's worth doing or not. No, yes. And if you're happy, and this now, when it's disabled here, all the chain ups up above that node will be evaluated again. So it might become heavy if it's really heavy node chain, so to speak. But when you're happy, you can just double click and say bake again. And let's see. Oops, I think I was in the wrong. Yeah, my bad. Let's go to you. Let's redo that. It's live, and I'm a OBS noob, so I was showing this. So let's go back again. When my bake shader is complete. So anyway, yeah, I learned by the mistake. So this is my second live session, and it's hard to have everything in your head, so to speak. So I was saying that you can use the Breakpoint result and add on top of it, and you can also choose to rebake or disable a node. So it's now baking, it's almost finished. So yeah, so what you missed when you saw me speaking by myself was this. So I was painting this node, and I went into this, the green node here is the Breakpoint, and I started to muck with the tree planar. So let's go back and say something again to demonstrate that, just to see that so now we see here, you see this is the red one. It tells us upstream something has changed upstream since I baked it. So if I go down here, look at that node, so I hit the 1 key, That's the shortcut for connecting a node. You can hit the 1, 2, so you can flip between different places. If you want to look at the cloud, so I have the 1 on the merge there and 2 in the cloud, and I can have 3 on this breakpoint, and so on up to I think 9, and 0 is the selected shader. Okay, so let's say that you're looking at this, hit the 1 button, and you have changed something here, and you want to first just preview, so you can hit the D button, as I said before, to disable it. So now everything upstream is evaluated, but if it's a heavy connection of chains of nodes, it might become heavy. So then the bake point is really good to have, so then you have to rebake. In my case now, I don't want to do that because it just takes time and there's nothing to see there. So yeah, that's kind of a short rundown, the difference between the layer graph and then the node graph. So the node graph to me is more flexible in the sense that you can build larger networks that feeds into the actual, like you can have a 10, 20 nodes that feeds into one layer. Then you have 10, 20 nodes that feeds into the layer above. That will be really, really hard to do in the layer graph. I've done similar things, but what I did back then when you just had channels, I did like pre-bake channels. So I took the combined channel kind of approach and baked it into one, copy and merged it, and used that in a shared channel. So that's a way you're doing it, but it's very complex, and it also makes you like you have to juggle everything. You have to know everything, what's baked and where it is copied to, and stuff like that. So yeah, that's why I use the Breakpoint node, because I can see if something is out of sync. You can see it's red. You can see it here, and yeah. Okay, so let's grab all of this and go back to my example. So yeah, so I left it off here the last time. I started to build some kind of so I have my bakes here, and I have let's see, so it's my curvature, it's the baked curvature, baked occlusion. So I'm gonna use this for my dirt mask later on, and I have a here we have the radian node. So it's taking the input over here from the occlusion. So I started to make a bare bone for, like, I'm gonna have my dirt mask here. So I think I'm gonna actually stack the masks more like in this kind of fashion on top of each other, because it's left to right. I build left to right. So by the way, there's a other way of building nodes as well. I can show that. So if I have a few nodes here, just, and you, what is it, Shift L? No. Let's see. Preferences. Let's see. I never switch. Let's see what it is. Shortcuts. And go to, I guess it's node graph. Must be. Let's see if we can find it. Node graph, there we go. And should be, where is the actual command for Swap, no, that's swap. Ah, there, Shift S. So toggle port list. So this is called the port list. And I hit Shift S, then this is how Mari was looking before. Before Mari 3, what was it? V1? I can't recall which one it was. Anyway, so this is another way. It's more top to bottom. So you have like color. Now I have this default set to. By the way, let's see, for people that's new to the node graph, you have to set the advanced node to enable. And I have set the default to port list. So you have the port list or no port list. Before it was only no port list. The port list is this, the more, it has ports, more like a shader, similar maybe to like Maya or something, like more shader centric type of shading. So this is more like Nuke, and for compositing I guess this makes more sense, but I think this port list is more suited for actual shading kind of texturing, because you kind of is shading in a way when you do the textures nowadays. So yeah, okay, yeah, Aaron is on. Yeah. Hello Aaron. my work colleague, and I see him, and let's see. Hello, it's working. Yeah, let's see. There it is. Yeah, I do read the chat. I didn't know that someone was actually writing something, so I have to check that as well. Oh well, so here we go. The port list, it's a I like this. It's way better. You have more visible connections than the regular old one. Okay, so let's see. We can actually, let's see, we can make maybe a chat somewhere, so we can add a chat browser feature. Where is it? Okay, I'm gonna try and make a let's see. There we go. Copy. And let's see if I can paste it here. Scale it down maybe. You're on the air. Okay. So yeah, so I'm gonna start to build my dirt mask and metal mask, and up here is gonna be similar to, I'm gonna have like color, specular, bump, rough, and stuff like that. So let's start to add something here. Okay, so we have this. This is gonna be my, I'm gonna turn off the, this is actually an HDR of my work. It's there in that building. Okay, so let's go back here, lights, turn off the lights, and I'm gonna restructure some stuff here. So I'm gonna make a dirt mask out of this, and it's gonna feed into my dirt layer later on. So let's take the brightness look up. do something broad, maybe. I need something like a tree planar. Or let's take the axis projection. So this is a extension pack node. So the axis projection is similar to a tree planar, but it's just one input image, because that's usually what I usually anyway use the tree planar projection for. So let's say I want to drag this image, because I usually want the same image on all sides anyway. So yeah. And this is where you set the actual size. Okay, let's do something here. Gonna rebuild the network a bit, or my UI. So I want node properties there, image manager on top. Okay, that's cool. Okay, so this is a fresh install of Mari, because I migrated my computer to a new one the other week. Like if 2 weekends ago, I had another machine before. It's still in the background rendering on a thing in Rewnderman, but everything is fresh now. So that's kind of good, because you're gonna see me configure stuff, because let's see, I want to map some keys, so shortcuts, and I want, let's see, where is it? I do this, so here we go. So the node graph, that's definitely, so that's something I use a lot, so I mapped that to F5. And node properties, yes, don't care about that. Node properties, F6. So this is my two main ones. Something I use, channels. That's something I use on and off. Yes. Layers, F8. So let's say image manager can be good to have. I can take that F9. Where is it? Image manager. I'm blind. There we go. So let's see, Aaron is saying something here. Can one change the way the connections are drawn between nodes in the graph? Let's see, if do you mean this, Aaron? If I have like one, the Shift S goes between port list and the old one. So this is the old one, and that's the port list. You can't, if you mean the thing we have in Katana style, that they go straight, that's something that's not possible at the moment, and that's something I really wanted Foundry to incorporate, because that could be the best of the both nodes. I would like to have straight corners, but that's not possible. So if you want to have a dot node, you hit the dot. So if you want to have a dot node there, so this is also a way to restructure, but yeah, we don't have anything to. Yeah, okay, so I'm not sure if that was what you mean, Aaron. Anyway, let's see, where were we? Yeah, I was remapping stuff. So I wanna have this one docked there, so it goes up and down. That's okay. Node properties. That's good. Image manager, that's F9. What else? Channels. Layers. This one has to be up there. Okay, I think that's kind of the basics I need at the moment. Okay, so yeah, let's jump into this again. Okay, so I wanna build something. I wanna take the intensity of this and knock it down with the axis projection. So take the output to the over, and let's see. Then in the node properties, this is similar to the layer stack, but this is for your node properties instead of the layer properties. It's the same settings, but it's for the nodes. So let's just take it like multiply. Let's see, maybe tweak this a bit. Yeah, something like that maybe. It's gonna be like a start. So the next time I'm gonna take a look at more. I'm gonna dev the material. So when I go live the next time, I'm gonna do some rendering. I'm gonna take look at the different materials I want to achieve, and then I'm gonna do basic shading, and I'm gonna come up with kind of like the basic roughness, what kind of roughness I need for paint, metal, and dirt and stuff like that. So that's gonna be kind of the basic building blocks for my later what I need to build in shading. Whoops, I think not sure what I did. I must have hit L or something, because everything is a mess over here, but that's fine. Can just do it again. So if you have a lot of nodes like this, you see that they were jumbled together. If they're not in, if they're in a backdrop, if I do something, if I place this in a backdrop, if I now hit L, nothing happens. But everything that's outside of a backdrop, if you don't have anything selected, they're gonna reshift themselves. So that was what I accidentally did there. So let's see, they are not in a backdrop. So I hit L now. That's the shortcut for rebuild the nodes. So that's something if you're not aware of it and you hit L, you might end up with a lot of nodes just stuck together. But you can kind of easily start to get that back if you just select one of the nodes and hit L. Yes, that chain upstream of it will get affected in auto placement, so you can kind of easily get back into shape. Anyway, okay, so this is gonna be my template for so we're gonna have the dirt mask, the metal mask, so they're gonna feed into with radii nodes in the end into the different masks that's gonna be driving the different materials. So you're gonna build, let's name this to maybe so it's gonna be metal in the base. So I'm gonna have a metal diffuse color, metal albedo, metal roughness, specular roughness, metal displacement, and all of them on top of each other like this. And then I will probably have the next layer here. It's gonna be kind of like painted, or if it's something, I'm gonna think of the whole asset like first I flood fill it with metal, then I flood fill it with some kind of paint. Maybe I have rubber. So they're gonna stack this way. So I'm gonna have metal, painted, rubber, alloy, whatever. And it's gonna be fed by masks. So I'm gonna do the mask down here. And if I have something that's really expensive, I might break it out into different sections, maybe pre-bakes and stuff. So let's just make this skeleton here now. Okay, metal, albedo. So it's gonna, let's take a color here. And backdrop. So I will probably rehouse this a bit later on. Let's call this matte rough. So let's make the roughness that color. And let's say displacement as well. Whoops. Okay, so metal disp. And let's see. So actually I make the roughness whiter to simulate the rough material. The displacement can be like 50% gray, and the albedo. So this is just for me to visualize this. It has nothing to do with anything, it's just a backdrop. So the backdrop is gonna be the container. So let's see. Let's take the auto place. So there we have roughness. Start like that. And let's see, bump and chug that over there. Yeah, I would like to be able to still autoplace while inside a backdrop, because that's kind of handy sometimes, or some kind of shortcut would be nice. So I'm just gonna place stuff here now temporarily. I know they're gonna add stuff. Okay, so the albedo, that's color. We at the moment can rename this later. Okay, so okay, so yeah, I think that's kind of it for today. So I didn't really paint that much today. It was all about that question and trying to visualize the question I got from our, what's his name? Let's see here again. Arnav. So this is, yeah, this is your live session. And Pete Patterson, I'll fix the chat. So now this one is moved from over there. So the next time, yeah, let's see here. Okay, so going back, let's summarize. So we gonna take a look at the actual, gonna take a look at different materials next time, and I'm gonna do the actual lookdev testing. So I'm gonna find my albedo values, my roughness values for the metal, similar to the paint and everything. So I'm gonna do some test rendering on the model, come up with the values so I know that they are physically based for my renderer, and then I'm gonna import it into Mari as like a template, and then I'm gonna start to make the masks and paint all the details. So I will probably start with actually the bump or the displacement, because I usually start with the bump or the displacement, because then I can use portions of it in my texturings. I might use the bump as a mask for something. So yeah, I will do that the next time. But yeah, this was a short rundown of some node-based stuff in Mari and what's gonna come next. So until the next time, yeah, just stay frosty and keep painting, and do use the node graph. So, and also, if you have questions, just pop them in the comments below, and I will try to answer them the next time I have a live session. And keep watching this space, and yeah, subscribe if you like this, and if you didn't, just don't subscribe and don't like what I do. That's up to you. So yeah, and the next time you might even see Nala, my dog. She's a rock solid dog. Yeah, see you. Bye bye.